Hello everyone. This is Theologate Talks, a mission experience sharing series of the Divine Word Theologate, a formation house of the Divine Word Missionaries in Chicago, Illinois. My name is Quang Pham, and I will be your host for today. As members of a missionary congregation, all of us, seminarians and religious brothers alike, have a privilege to go for a program called Cross-Cultural Training Program, or CTP, from 1, 2, or 3 years. This training is not only an opportunity for us to experience a taste of mission, but also to deepen our missionary calling. Someone even said that if you can overcome the challenges of cross-cultural training program, you may be assured of your missionary vocation. And so, in our episode today, we have a confrere who just came back from South America. Let us take a moment to get to know him and hear his stories. Hi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hello, Quang, and hello, everyone. My name is Nguyễn. I'm born and raised in Vietnam, and I came to the U.S. in 2010. So I just came back from Ecuador, 2 years there. And so I'll be here with you guys, and thank you for having me here.
And thank you for coming. Before we begin to share your stories in Ecuador,
Yes.
can you share with us a little bit about how you got to know the SVD, the Divine Word Missionaries, and how you get to go to Ecuador as a destination for your cross-cultural training program?
Okay. Yeah, so first of all, that time when I was back in my hometown in Sacramento, California, after that I have a practice with my choir, and then I went to a prayer room and then just praying with God with the tabernacle. And then there's a parent of an SVD priest came, and then he saw me, and then he just approached me and then touched me by my shoulder and then introduced about the SVD, Divine Word Missionaries, and he told me that whether or not I interested to have a come and see. So I went. I decided to go to Epworth, Iowa, for the come and see. And after 5 days spending there, I just loved the atmosphere there, the environment there, and also interested in SVD. So I applied for Divine Word College the next semester right away to join the SVD. And how about knowing about how do I know about Ecuador? Is that I heard from one of my confrere who went back from his CTP experience in Ecuador as well. So he shared with me about his experience, and he also invited me and encouraged me to come there and do my CTP there. So I just go ahead and choose it.
So when you were in Ecuador, did you have a chance to work with him, the one who introduced you to Ecuador?
Actually, when I went there, he came back here to finish his theology. So I just met him after his ordination, just a few months. He came back to Ecuador to work there again. So I just met him for a little bit, and then I went back to the U.S. and he stayed there in Ecuador to work. So. Yeah.
So for those of you who are not familiar with the Divine Word Missionaries, we are a missionary congregation who have missions in more than 80 countries in the world, and Ecuador is one of them. And so it's lucky for us to have An here so that he can now help us to know a little bit more about how the SVD in Ecuador was established and how is the mission there now.
Yes. So SVD first came to Ecuador in 1893, but because of the persecution of the Catholic at that time, we left, but then came back in 1962 So last November was the 60 years anniversary of the presence of SVD, the Divine Word Missionary in Ecuador.
So the SVD has been in Ecuador for 60 years, right?
Yes.
So what kind of ministries are we doing there?
Yes. So mainly we have parish work, parish ministry. So we work mostly in every diocese of Ecuador. Another ministry that we work on is in the biblical ministry, in which we have a center, biblical center, in which we have a printed our own translated Bible and theology books and stuff like that, and also offering courses in Bible for people to take, like catechesis or whoever interested. Another specialized ministry that we have in Ecuador is to the pastoral work with the indigenous people and also with the Afro-Americans. So we have two main parishes that serve with the indigenous people, and another two is majorly also serving the Afro-Americans.
So do you know how many members do we have in Ecuador?
Yes. So currently we have around 43 members over there.
43 out of over 6,000 members of the Divine Word Missionaries over the world is working in Ecuador.
Yes.
And I think it will be a great mistake if I don't mention about your, how we say, costume today.
Costume.
I'm sure this will be something very special to Ecuador, right?
Yes.
And can you say something about it?
Sure. So this is a poncho that I bought in Ecuador, especially in the parish that I work at in Xinya Canton. This one was handmade by the indigenous people, and you can see here the two llama, which are also a special animals of the indigenous there. So I love it. I love the here also we also have some kind of cultural or icon of the indigenous people there. So I just love the desire, the color, and how they make it. So and also it's very cheap. It's like $25 for this one.
So as we are talking about what you were wearing today, I think it's fitting for us now to talk about the experience that you appreciate the most during your time in Ecuador.
Yes, thank you. That's a very good question, because actually this poncho related to one of my most beautiful experience that I have in Ecuador, and also I think for my own vocation as well, because at that time it was like my last 6 months that I served and stay in Ecuador. So I live with two other Divine Word missionaries, priests, who came from Spain and Zambia. And so we lived there and we served the indigenous people there. At that place, the same place, Xinya Canton, so we have like 17 different mission stations that is spread out in the mountains area, deep in the mountain, with a very difficult road that we had to travel to each communities. And I think I love it. I love that experience, because it's like there were no priests from that diocese wanted to go there and serve the people in that area, because it were too remote, it was poor and difficult, and only the Divine Word missionaries, we because of our charism and also our focus is on those areas that we accept the invitation of the bishops to be the only religious missionary, religious congregation that goes there and serve the people there. And because our charism is that we go to the places that nobody wants to go, that for me, is a beauty of our own Divine Word Missionaries charism that I really very, very appreciate and feel honored and, you know, being proud of because of that. And that, for me, serving the people there, it's just a beautiful experience for me.
Yeah, and I think I forgot to ask you, how many parishes were you in Ecuador? Like after 3 or 4 months, did you have to move to another parish, or you stay in one place for the whole 2 years?
Yes. So I actually I visited a lot of different parishes, but just for a short period of times. So I just went there to visit like 1 week or 2 weeks, and then I went back to study my Spanish. But for like to be assigned to a special parishes, I have actually 3 different parishes. So interestingly enough, the 3 parishes that I was sent to was like the first one I stayed in Muisne Esmeraldas for almost a month there, and that parish is one of the poorest parish in Ecuador. The next one I went to is the Saint Emmanuel Miguel in Guayaquil, which is one of the most dangerous parish in Ecuador. There were like south side of Chicago when every day they were shooting and then people die, you know. So my last parish was Xinya Canton, in which I served my last 6 months there, and that is one of the most difficult parishes.
So you were at one of the one of the poorest parish, and then one of the most dangerous parish,
Yes.
and then one of the most difficult parish.
Yes, yes.
So I'm sure there will be a lot of challenges for you.
Yes, yes.
So what are some of the challenges that you have faced in Ecuador?
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of challenges, but one of the most obvious is that when I was moving from because in Ecuador we divided into 3 different regions. The first one is the La Sierra, the mountains, La Costa, the coast, and the Amazonia, which is the Amazon forest. So, from moving from a low altitude area to a high altitude, I usually have like altitude sickness, in which I will have like a fever or a stomach ache for at least 1 or 2 days, because it's changed from sea level to like 10,000 feet above sea level. So that's why your body have to adapt every time you're moving down or up and down, So that's one of the most difficult things. Another thing is like, because of the languages that I have to face, and different area, they have different dialects. So I have to adapt to different accents of the people in different area and parishes. And it took me a little bit while to get used to that kind of accent in order to be able to speak with them and to be with them in that moment.
So we have been sharing a lot about all the things that you appreciated and some of the challenges. So to wrap up our talk today, what would you want to say to those who are interested in missionary work, or those who are still afraid of missionary experience?
Yes.
What do you want to say to them, based on what you have experienced in Ecuador?
Yes, every new experiences will have its own challenges and difficulties. But I think for me personally, if you really trust in God and listen to the guiding of the Holy Spirit, be open, be humble, be with the people, serving the people, be with them in their situation, listen to them, I think there will be a much more meaningful and beautiful moment for my own vocation as future Divine Word missionaries. And I think for whoever's want to have that kind of cross-cultural experience of being a missionary, you know. So
Thank you so much for sharing with us your experience in Ecuador. I appreciate the time and the wisdom that you share with us today.
thank you.
May God always bless you with all the grace you need for your ministry and your vocation.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/DWT Chicago. May God bless you and your loved ones.